Welcome back to GCBC's Media Ministry for Women.
Fill my cup, Lord. With a non-disputed topic comes a fascinating person. Today's episode is going to be a little different. For the first time, Ma'am Neng and I will be interviewing an ex-atheist.
It is my honor to introduce to you a young lady so special to our hearts. And our topic is about how a suicidal atheist came to know her Saviour. Well, she graduated from our Bible College, CBTS, in 2018, and she is presently our church secretary, our registrar for the Bible school. I just would like to welcome Miss Jojen Enriquez.
Hi, Jojen.
Hello.
Welcome to Fill My Cup.
Hello,
It's your
Ate
first time
Joy.
today,
Hello,
right?
Ma'am Neng.
Thank you,
Yes,
Jen.
it's
We
my first
appreciate it.
time. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, so Jen, you used to be an atheist. Am I
Yes.
right?
That's right.
Well, I got the description of the word atheist from Oxford Languages Dictionary. An atheist is a person who disbelieves or lacks belief in the existence of God, capital G, or God's small g. Please tell us why you became one.
That's a very long story to tell, but of course, with some of the words I know, ako i-try yung explain sa inyo how I became one.
Sige.
If I became, okay, because all these belong to the past now, so again, it's a story to tell and siya. So basically, it all started when I was younger. Most of the time, I stayed home, nara ko sa balay, and then I read a lot of books. I started with curiosity. So when I started reading books, since I didn't love to play outdoor games, I had been reading a lot of books when I was younger, and I was so fascinated by science. So the more I read science, the more I had questions.
Mm-hmm.
Daghan ko mga pangutana, and then
And that's at 4 years old?
I was 4, 5, and then family
Wow.
problems came when I was in grade 1. I was 7 years old at that time, you know. It's a long story to tell, but it was like a big mess. Our family was complete, but we functioned like we were not complete
Wow.
because of family problems, and that added my questions. Those were questions unanswered. Kanang hantod sa naabot na ko sa point nga daghan ako pangutana ba sa mga problems na mo. I ask where was God?
Mm-hmm.
So magsige ko pangutana sa mga tao, mga classmates na ko before, my senior friends, you know, my teachers, and I would just receive different kind of answers.
Mm-hmm.
Embarrassment, frustrations. They would just tell me, no, go home, you're too young to ask those questions. But I was just simply
Curious.
curious. I just
Mhm.
needed answers because at night I couldn't sleep. I would be entertaining those questions. So family problems came, and then I said, okay, if naay Ginoo, why can't I see him? Why can't I feel him?
Mm-hmm.
So I came up to a conclusion na siguro wala gyud Ginoo because nobody can answer. And for me at that time, science was more reliable,
Mm-hmm.
justifiable, logical, objective.
Mm-hmm.
So my mind growing up, mas na-hook up ko ato nga definition and ato nga area nga, oh, I think I love this because there are a lot of explanations, and when I look at this so-called God, religion, and then plus hopping to different churches, studying all their beliefs, manag, okay.
Still at 4 years old?
No, I wasn't 4
Oh,
years old at that time. So of course I read science, religion, back and forth. Kay kung naka-notice mo, sila ang nagkontra pirmi. You notice that,
For
right?
sure, definitely.
Yeah, so mas na I would ask people, and I would like say for example, I would ask them of their belief, and I would observe people na why can't they answer my questions? Sure gini sila sa gituhuan nila, ana ba? So that added by the time I was looking for God during my family problems, dito na ko na si pangutana, I opened my mind man for, you know, kind of additional knowledge ba. kung tinud-anay bagud siya. So the people nga akong gi pangduulan, they were not able to answer my question. So I said, okay, they didn't even know what they believe.
Do you
You
think
know?
you were motivated being an atheist because you were in a science school? And I know ang science school, mao ni ang mga school sa mga estudyante nga mga
High IQ.
mga brilliant high IQ. I know you don't want me to mention that. But at a young age, nahimo kang atheist. So I could tell that your brain was really, you were always brainstorming. Did you believe that you came from the monkeys?
I did.
I did. You don't look like one.
Thank you, Lord.
So anyway, okay, why did you become an atheist?
And how did it happen?
How did it happen, and what feelings did you have being an atheist at a young age? Were you happy? Were you depressed? What caused you that? Were you bitter? If you were bitter, tell me, kang kinsa ka nag-bitter?
Okay. So, let me journey, no? Let me journey with you, okay? Or let me allow you to have a journey of my life when I was younger, growing up, being an atheist. So, sa first question, of course, being an atheist, you don't just wake up one day or you were given birth and say, oh, I'm an atheist, no? Daghang kay factors for you to be one. So, of course, first thing, people who love science, most likely, okay, they will not believe in any form of God or gods. Why? Because again, as what I've said kaganina, the more they study, the more, of course, we're born to be curious people. We have a lot of questions in our heads.
And you used to want to be a scientist, I
Yes.
remember.
Yeah, so I was very inquisitive at that time. So those books, you know, because in the place where I grew up, there were a lot of books. We had a big library where we can just go and borrow books. It was all fed up by my curiosity and questions. Those curiosity led me to ask big questions. And so when I was asking big questions, dito na niabot ang family problems, more questions when the family problems came, and then naabot na ko sa time nga I had no one to talk to or discuss things or ask questions. So nakasulti ko nga maybe wala gud siguro Ginoo kay nga naman kung kaning mga tawhana tinud-anan ni sila sa ilang belief nganong di sila makatubag. Because I grew up in a home where, you know, I don't want to mention it, but my family was devoted to religion.
That's actually
Yes.
my question. I'm really
Yeah,
curious.
yeah.
When your family is
Yeah.
devoted as a devoted Christian or Roman Catholic, they know God. They should instill and introduce, your parents should be instilling those to you per se as their kids. So how come you don't know about God? So why you did not believe?
Now, what did it
Exactly.
make you? It made you a bitter
Yes.
person?
Growing up, I don't know if it's a tradition thing, basta when me,
Pila
all
edad,
of
pila
us,
edad.
kanang siblings, growing up, siguro mga around 6, going 7, mga anak nga age, I know in my heart there was something really that's missing or lacking in my heart. But I just didn't want to, because growing up, I had always believed in a mind over matter. Emotions, wala kay labot, it's just here. Because this, most of the time, is like subjective. This one is objective. So that's how I was built up. I just would say that's how I built myself, no? Kay of course. So I told my dad it was my birthday. Kasagaran sa amo ang ginabuhat family tradition na mo is pag na birthday, kurusan mi diri blood sa
Blood?
kanang magluto bitag manok nya mo kurusan diri and then managgot jud mi ana ato sa simbahan and then magana-ana na sila dito and then I just remember I was 6 years old and I asked my dad, pa, tara gud ta ka to sa simbahan. I'm talking about the religion of my parents growing up.
Okay.
So nako nga that was my birthday. So nato ko and then I know in my heart nga kind of open ko ana nga time ba nga okay.
But this was before you
Yes.
became an atheist?
Yes, I
And
was.
are you sure na religion siya? Kay ang blood
Yeah,
ba kay voodoo man na?
that's part of the of course.
Yes,
that's
some of them, they practice that.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Even in,
Yeah.
let's just say it's a Christianized paganism or paganized Christianity. Okay, so, I remember, niadto mi sa church, after nga, sa natawag nila, nagkandila-kandila ba? And then, niadto ko, nagpauban ko sa kong papang, sulod mi sa simbahan, ano sa pinaka-last nga, because I wanted to experience, if sakto ba good ang ilang gituan. Okay, they would not let's just say dili sila makatubag sa akong mga pangutana ba, so I had to be there myself and let me feel it, okay? If dili magali sila maka-explain, so nilingkod ko. I remember I knelt down and then I anak ko nihangad ko sa langit and ko daghan lagi kay na sila. I'm looking at the, you know, I'm talking about the graven images and daghan lagi kasi na I started to pray. I could not feel anything. Oh, this is empty. This is a big place, pero it's empty, you know? No, I'm not coming back here. That was the last time I entered the church.
Okay, well, I still need an answer from you. You had mentioned before nga depressed ka, bitter ka.
Yeah.
Nga naman, why?
So
why did you become a better young girl at that age? Like Joy said, she was still playing ano to imong game when you were
Jackstone. Kay
Jackstone.
7 years old ko, Jackstone ko.
Ito.
Nagalolipop ako nag-pick up stick. Ikaw kay mga depression, unsa man na oy.
No.
Okay,
Kani dyan.
Did it like come from the family?
Yes.
If you
so
can be
duha
more
to siya.
specific where
Be more
exactly
specific.
it came from, what led you to be an atheist? Because
Okay,
I'm
okay.
really actually
This,
interested.
maybe we can help these young girls. You know,
Yeah.
I know somebody who tried to kill herself when she was only 5.
Oh
my goodness.
So we want to help the young girls and the parents out there to watch for their young kids.
Yeah,
Because even young kids can have those suicidal thoughts, you know,
that's true.
and it comes from depression. So,
Yeah,
can
so
you share that to encourage everyone?
yes, of course.
And think about this, Jen. I'm really curious why you mentioned when we talked a few days back that your siblings mga pilagan mo 8
9.
o 9 si 9 mo tapos makaisip ka pa mga depression and maka suicidal thoughts, so dili ko sure kay kami 5 lang kami kabuok ang amon yung ginaisip mi lang gid ya mag duwa and games.
Okay, suicidal
Yeah.
thoughts.
So
Did
where
you have
Okay,
suicidal attempts? Because maaman na siya ang mag-follow sa suicidal
Yeah,
thoughts. So that's dangerous.
And especially kids, 'di ba? Kung ano ila ginaisip, ubrahon dayon.
Oo.
'Di ba? So I don't know, did you?
Okay, so let me explain it like this, okay? Ang family the peak sa ang pinakataas nga murag downfall sa mga family at that time, that was when I was 7. I was grade 1. Let's just say my dad was kanang truly affected by what happened and it affected us all. Kay naay gibuhat among mga tulo ka kamagwangan namo or I mean, 3, how do you call that, mga maguwang namo. They did something that really broke our dad's heart. And so I used to be really close with my dad. And usa na sa mga factors nga nasakitan kay tanan ko, and I was questioning about, Lord, asa man kaani nga time nganong why I had to suffer, why I had to
happen?
Yes, nganong
Why did you have to
Lord,
pay for somebody
yes,
else's
it's
sin?
their fault, it's not my fault, so nganong inaniman, and then that lasted for many years. So I had to, you know, gain his trust. I had to be always on top. When I was in school, dapat
In school.
takwan jud ko. If dili ko tapuan, he would not go to the recognition ceremony.
So-
you know,
so
that was
it's-
truly depressing.
So what
Especially
was
if you
their
tried
time?
hard.
Was there time you did not make it to the top one and he never
Yes,
came?
yes.
When you
So,
were like
I was 8.
top 2, there was
Yes.
time that you were top 2 and then maybe a lower, and did that get you
Yeah.
depressed because he did not come?
Yeah, so kung ako ni siyang let me just give ako di ba, I started with my curiosity, questions, family problems came, depression, that was the moment nga I could remember my depression started. Because I had questions kanang, and then I would say, Lord, ganong, why would you allow this to happen? And it was like really worse. We were all affected by it. Like my father just left us all in the air.
So basically, Jin, ang nakapa-depress nimo was basically because your parents expected too much from you. And there were times you could not live to their expectation. And you know, that's a
That was one of the
real
things. Yes.
great lesson for parents out there. Some parents, they expect too much from their kids. They want them to be top one. They want them to be what they cannot be. So this is a great lesson for our parents, not to push our kids. Basta di lang sila, kung mauna ilang makaya, kay di yun na maayo ng mag-expect tag too much nga dili wala sila anay capabilities.
Yeah.
They don't have
Totally
the
agree.
capacity to. You have to love your kids just the way they are.
I was in grade 7 when I concluded there's no God, because the moment I was daghan ko mga pangutanan, nangutanan ako sa mga tao diri, no one can answer. Now na ako'y problem, I could not see God. And I remember looking at the star, I said, okay, well, I think Big Bang can explain this, or the theory of evolution, or even science can explain all these things without even God. God doesn't have to be in the picture or in the equation. So I said, okay, there's no God. I don't believe in God, because if He is there, He's cruel. He's this and that. Or why will I be hurt? I'm not gonna be affected. Why? Because there's He doesn't even exist. How can I
Okay.
be bitter at someone who doesn't exist? So that's what
true.
I told
So-
myself before.
So
Alright.
that made you like you try to be strong on your own strength.
yes,
true.
exactly.
That's really good that you became strong. So this is just a quick question. Being bitter, being depressed, did it lead you or to become an ambitious woman? Because you wanted to prove yourself, you wanted your dad to recognize you, you wanted to make up for what your older siblings did, so all the rest can follow. Did you have bigger ambitions since
Yes.
you started at 4 years old
Yeah.
thinking about science? So
Yes.
for sure you have a big brain in there, not a pea brain like myself here.
No.
So
Don't say
so
that.
because of that big brain, for sure you have big ambitions, big goals, bigger than a normal kid have. If you can share what are your goals, or what
Yeah.
are your ideals or ambitions, like, okay, sa common na question, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, that was before.
Yes,
You
before.
had ambitions.
Yes.
So if that was me, I would be the same thing, because I knew then I had that brain to use, which I didn't have that one. So, but I know you're humble about it. But knowing her when she was in high school, I remember Jojen when she was a teenager, and she was the president of the student supreme government, and she was on the top academically.
Oh wow.
And she was a working student at the same time.
Oh,
You still
wow.
did not tell us when you left home.
Yes.
Oh,
We're
you
Come to
left
the
home.
city
we will add
to work
yeah,
on your
I
own.
will
So
add to-
please tell us that.
Okay.
And
In connection to
answer Ate Joy's question.
I am
We're too excited
now.
here. Yeah, we're
Wala
too
na,
excited
where will I
here,
start?
Jojen. Yeah, we're too
Okay,
excited.
so, di ba, 7 years old ko, katong akong depression, naggrabe pagod iyahang ni-increase siya when I was 8. You remember the story,
Yeah.
Ma'am Neng, I told you about before? When I was 8 years old, I think that was, if I can remember it right, grade 3 ko, I was in 3rd grade. I was only 2nd place.
Yeah.
And my dad never came.
Because he wanted you
So,
to be the
first,
top
Yes,
one.
so he expected too much. I said, okay, I was sick. I was absent 2 weeks in a row, so I had no, it was, my grades were affected, but it was just by points. So I was there. I remember I was swinging. I was, on a swing, and then I even heard my teacher called my name, and no one was there,
For you.
to
You were
accompany
all by
me.
yourself.
Yeah, so I said, okay,
Wow.
I guess I have to try. At that time, I said, I guess I have to try harder. So that became a motivation at first. So although I was depressed, I was trying to set it aside. And then, okay, I'm gonna use it as a motivation until naabot sa time nga, too much na yun, di na ko makaya. Like, kung naabot na
How
ko
old
sa,
were you? Were you a teenager?
naabot na ko sa, gikan ko sa grade 3, di ba, I started grade 1, hantong naabot na lang ko sa elementary. I kept on transferring from one school to the other because of, kanang some specific reasons. Naabot, mas ni grabe ang pagpaningkamot all by myself when I entered high school. Pero pag abot na nako sa high school, akong papa kay nagkalala na po siya. Ay, wala na ko nakita nga puan ba? Wala na ko nakita
Wala
dito nga.
support, wala.
Jud.
Wala,
Like
Jud.
pa, I tried my best,
But it wasn't good enough.
sa elementary pa lang ko, I tried my best, pero wala, Jud. I entered science high school, sa high school na ko, and then dito na mas nilala, kaya nagkagrabe ang evolution, nagkagrabe na ang kanang belief sa science. So, ako, okay, so, well then, if wala, Jud, ko mabuhat para ma-please sila, then I just have to leave home. And then I even told them, okay, karon, mulakaw ko, naunaan na lang ninyo, wala mo anak.
Oh, diba? At least nag-listen siya ka.
So, na ako, I was not even planning to come back. I was
That's
prideful. I was full of ambitions. I was selfish. I
Selfless.
prepared all my scholarships, because I could not afford it. I didn't have money. I didn't have parents to support me. So, it was just all me all along. I had no God. So, I said, okay, I'm gonna plan my future all by myself. So, I would have scholarship from UP Diliman.
Wow.
I had two choices, University of San Carlos and University of the Philippines.
Yeah.
But I chose UP because, that could be a great passageway to NASA in Texas.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's like, okay,
She really
that
is
was all my
brilliant, Ma'am Ning.
that was all my plan.
Okay, now, that led us to the next question.
Mhm.
How did all that change? Tell us how God changed your heart. How did you find peace? How did you come to know the Lord? Tell us the story.
Okay. So the Lord used my depression when I was in high school. Grabe ang akong depression, and the Lord knew nga there was this July 3rd of 2013 where God came in the picture. I was in Banilad Night High School, third year high school ko na nga time, and kanang decided na jud ko anang gabi una nga patay na jud kanang maghikog na gyud ba. So
To that day,
yes, that day. But of course, I had suicidal attempts na from the past. But this was just the most serious kumbaga ba nga
Last straw.
ana jud ko nga yes, last straw na ni siya nga no one can stop me. Buhaton jud din ako. So, of course, wala naman ko'y hope. Ngano magpadayon mo ko sa akong kinabuhi. Wala man day pulos, no? Animals naman day kata, matay rata just like the dogs, That's what I thought. So, there's no life after death. So, mo na siya kanang it was so easy for an atheist to say that. Pero I just knew at that time that the Lord was really there in His sovereignty and providence nga He met me there. He sent people my way to tell me, to share with me the gospel, and that was Pastor Frank. So it was on July 3rd of 2013 that became life-changing sa akong kinabuhi. That was where I met Jesus, and the way nga gi-share ni Pastor Frank ang gospel, it was so clear. It was through a campus ministry. So led by
campus ministry.
GCBC.
Great job.
Yeah, so Pastor Frank and the team was there. I was not even interested at that time. Pero at that time, the Lord knew what I needed. Nga He met me right where I was. Tanan jud dito na ko na realize na nga kakasala ako. I needed Him. I could not do it on my own. He's there. Naayod ay heaven, ay hell. So if naay Ginoo, then I had to face judgment, and I know nga impirdohonon jud kani no. So Lord, I don't want to go to hell. Kanang tinuod man ka Lord, so dawaton ti kasong kasing-kasing because that's my only way of of going to heaven with you.
So that night, you were an atheist no more.
Atheist no more.
Did you decide to forgive your parents for all your bitterness, for your heartaches? Did you get rid of them?
Actually, to be honest,
Nadula
the moment that the gospel was presented to me, of course, the gospel has forgiveness in it.
Yeah,
That's why
that's repentance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Repentance
I understood
toward
that. I understood that. I said, Lord, kung ako gali nga grabe ka makakasala, atheist gali ko, dili parehas akong ginikanan nga kind of napa sila Ginoo nga i-compare sa ako napasaylo gali ko nimo, who am I not to forgive them? And I remember after ana nga gabi, of course I had to go sa ako ang gitrabahoan. Then I remember I was alone in the room and I said, Lord, I didn't even know na ba sila church or what. I didn't know na sila organization kaya it was my first time to meet them.
Yeah, you didn't know.
I said, Lord, kung wala ko kabalo kung what's the next step, but I just want you to know na
You can cry. It's okay.
It's okay.
Ready gid ako bala Jojen sini.
Ika nang I always tell this, but whenever I do, I remember na nako ang that specific moment I had with the Lord where I said, Lord, kanang from the moment I was younger till now, it was all you who had always been
Sa
with
mga
me.
attempts mo sa suicide.
You stopped me with my suicidal attempts. you led me all the way here. You even used my depression, frustration, ambition just to be in this place. It was all your providence. And I said, all along, Lord, it was all you. When no one was there, when nobody was, was there to help me, it was all you. And for 15 years, you've been knocking into doors sa kung kasing-kasing. I said, Lord, now I know the conclusion of life. Ikaw na, Lord, it's gonna be you and me now. Whatever it is, I don't know kung naabay church, kung if you want, I still want to know you. Kanang, if napakiplano sa kong kinabuhi, I told God, I remember, Lord, I'm gonna give you all of me. I said, it was all clear. Kanang, I don't know sa next step, but I'm gonna give you all of me. Tanan-tanan ako'y hatag sa imuhan. Dadaan ako sa iyaha nga. I even said this, Lord, kung maabot yali kong 18, kung wala na kay plano na ako, beyond 18, patya na lang ko, kay ganahan ko mag-uban naman pa.
Wow.
But if you still have plans akong kinabuhi, then let me live. I'm gonna give you all my life.
So
All the days of
you
my
really
life.
got saved.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
that's
moment.
really
That was the moment
nice.
nga, tanan akong ambisyon, nakalimtan ako, pinakalit. That's why I always love the phrase, if God is all I have, then He is all I need.
So that's
That started
wonderful.
during that night.
So that really reminds me of an empty vessel, an empty cup, and God poured in something. He
Fill it.
filled it up,
Mm-hmm.
and that night you were never the same again.
Yes.
That's true.
God filled it out with joy and peace.
Yes.
I love that.
And so later on, He loves me so much that He gave me a church.
So
He gave me
sweet.
mentors, disciples. He gave me a pastor from His heart.
Oh,
And
that's really
And
nice.
we love you.
Yeah.
I love you
Momo
too.
too.
Love you so
Langga,
much.
okay.
Okay, and now you do you have a question that is leading to that?
Yeah, for sure. I know that it's been long, no? From 4 years old up to 15, so almost 11 years that you're struggling and all those stuff. And then you became ambitious, and then you have magnanimous goals. So just one last question, Jojen. What made you surrender your worldly ambitions and fully focus and surrender your fully focus on your Christian walk and surrender your life to Him?
That night, katong isaw din ako kanina, when I came up to the conclusion nga where no one was there, when I had no one and I had nothing, He was there. And I said, Lord, you're the most deserving person nga makaangkon sa akong kinabuhi.
Oh, I see.
So,
And
mo
then you
that was my
graduated.
surrender. And I didn't even know if mag-Bible school ba ang next nga plan sa Ginoo nako. Wala pa ko church
But-
and nga time, but I was already
Yeah.
surrendered. And so katong
Pag-graduate
time
mo
nga
was high school. What did?
Ari. Just one thing, because I remember a while ago you mentioned that you have an offer nga scholarship sa UP and also in that other school. That's your stepping stone. UP is one of the top 3 schools here in the Philippines. If I don't know if that's
Yes.
true, but that's the record before. One of the top 3 schools here in the Philippines. Having that, and normally it's limited ang spot for scholarships, and you've been offered with that, and not only one, not only UP, but other schools as well. And that's free education, that's free college, Jojen, and that's your step going to NASA in Texas. So what happened?
Yeah.
What are you an astronaut now? I'm not sure. Are you from space? Are you Are you a meteor?
you remember,
What?
kapag isulti na ko nga, pray ko sa Ginoo, Lord, I didn't know unsa ang ahead, but I just want you to use my life.
Mm-hmm.
Apil na to ang picture sa akong thought nga, Lord, if you want me to give up my dreams, I would be willing to do it.
Wow.
Pero lead me lang. Where your presence is, ganahan ko nga naapog ko dito, kaya I don't want to do things on my own now. Since it's you and me now. It's not all of me. So, naapot sa time nga, kanang later on, i-forward na ko nga, God sent me Pastor Frank again, nagkita me, and then there nagsugod among mentorship with Ma'am Ning, of course their family. Dito na ko nakaabot sa church. And then wala pa na human ang akong 3rd year, I felt the calling sa Ginoo to be in full-time service, to be a missionary one day. And later on sa camp, God kanang convicted my heart to go to Bible school. Kanang anak ko sa Ginoo, Lord, as long as I live, I'm all yours. So God led me to Bible school, and now he's leading me to be in full-time service. And it's my prayer and still my calling sa akong kasing-kasing na God still wants me to be a future missionary.
Okay.
So I'm praying for a specific place right now nga mo'y kanang atuan
What's
ako
the
sa
place?
mission field. I'm praying for Israel. But again, I'm open for whatever is God's
Yeah,
will.
that's good.
Again, I had no plans on my own. I just put things on my palm. So if God will just take it away and replace it with something else, I'm open to
That's
that.
good. That's called surrender.
So
That's
wherever
great.
He wants me to go, I'm all there. Gonna be there with all of my heart.
One more thing. I know I said a while ago na last na dyan to na question. Alam na bata, bright kaayo, manasa, tapos nag-Bible school. So, kumbaga, it's totally a different opposite gid ang direction, south and north.
Everybody thought you were crazy.
My friends, my family, my relatives, even my teachers growing up who really knew me, they knew religion was not my thing. So I said, are you crazy? Are you sure? You must be joking. Joke ra ka no. Ikaw mag-seminary, mag-Bible school. Unsa man na, nabuwang na ka. Unsa na ka? Like, they called me, names and uy, kanang mata dyan. Hindi ikaw ba niya? Guys, asa magipakaon nila dito? But I said, you may not understand unsa ang akong story or
Why you made that
yes,
decision.
I needed to make that decision, but I'm serious. My hands are on the plow, so no turning back.
Okay, as a mom, I know how it feels. I never really imposed on my kids. We have desires for our children, but I didn't want them to be the top one when they can't be. Because I know I would be frustrated if my parents did that to me. But that's Philippians 3:13. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before.
As always, like and subscribe our Facebook and YouTube, or you can also email us. That is fillmycupministry2022@gmail.com. All right, Ma'am Neng, there's a few shout outs that we would like to do for our shout out per episode, and we would like to acknowledge this. Go ahead.
Okay, shout out to Bri O. Carroll. Such a blessing. What a wonderful testimony. Praise the Lord. Please do continue.
Thank you, Bri. Oh, Carol, please stay tuned always.
From Marilu Udtuhan, thank you for this po. It helps young people like me to be pure in their teenage years. Praise God for your life po.
Thank you, Marilo. By the way, this is all comments from our YouTube page on our second episode. So yeah, ladies, we cannot acknowledge everybody, but we will surely do shout outs as much as we can every episode. So yeah, always comments, share, and subscribe as well. And if you have topics, concerns, or questions, please send it to our messenger. Comment down below. We're always gonna be here for you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.